Run the hurry up for some draft topics for tonight. Graz, I start with you. We can safely assume the Bears are going to take Caleb Williams at number 1, but they also have the 9th pick in the draft. What are you hearing about the plans there?
Yeah, interesting spot for the Bears at number 9. A lot of people have them taking a wide receiver, and they could do that, especially if one of the big three, such as Rome Odunze, falls to them. But remember, the Bears only have 4 picks in this whole draft, and at this point, they'll have already made one. It could be a place where they're looking to trade down and amass more picks later in the round and pick up some picks later in the draft.
Okay, RC, I know you're there at the draft in Detroit. Should the Bears get a wide receiver at number 9?
I believe if Rome Odunze is there at number 9, that's a guy that you could look at. And also think about the future. Keenan Allen only has 1 year left on his deal in that trade from the Los Angeles Chargers. Now you have someone to groom under him, someone that Rome Odunze has said he's studied in order to be that sort of player as well. And you think about some of these top 3 or the top 3 wide receivers, I believe they're all future number 1s in this league. It'd be a great pick. If not, you go defensive line.
You know, Graz, it sounds like we're going to see another quarterback at number 2 with the Commanders leaning towards Jayden Daniels. What are you hearing about them trying to get, though, another late-round pick?
Yeah, look, the Commanders have the 2 picks high in the second round. I believe they have the 4th and the 8th picks of the second round. So they are a candidate to try and trade back into the back end of the first round tonight to maybe get a left tackle, another position of significant need, especially if you're going to put things in the hands of a rookie quarterback. There are a couple teams in the back end of the round, Detroit, Baltimore, Green Bay, all candidates to trade out with a team that's looking to get back into round 1.
Mike T, what about the Raiders? Should they be trying to trade up and go get Jayden Daniels, you think?
Absolutely, Brian. You're not negotiating. You are paying the bill. If you are the Raiders, and Antonio Pierce is off to a great start what he did last year, Brian, but you're playing Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert 4 times a year, you need a quarterback. If you could get Jayden Daniels, again, I am not getting off the phone with the Commanders if that's even a remote possibility. I'm simply saying, hey, what is the price? I am paying the bill. I want Jayden Daniels in Vegas.
You look at most of these mocks, Graz, and it seems like the real interesting thing is going to happen at number 3.
Yeah.
What are you hearing about the Patriots? Do they stay there at number 3, take a quarterback, or do they trade down?
They like the spot they're in, and I think they'll take calls. They'll have some interested teams. They already have. Teams like the Giants and the Vikings have already inquired about moving up and getting that 3rd pick. So far, the Patriots have said, we're standing pat. We need a major, major haul if we're going to trade this pick. They also want to wait and make sure they know what's going to happen at 1 and 2 before making a decision. I believe the Patriots really like Drake May and would be fine with staying pat and drafting him at number 3. But I also believe if they don't have to move back too far and they're sure they can get their quarterback tonight in round 1, they would be open to the possibility of a deal.
RC, what do you think? Should the Patriots, should they trade down what they've generally done in the past, or should they draft a quarterback right there at number 3?
You draft a quarterback if it's your guy. You don't want to be that team when you look at where they sat at 15 a few years back and they drafted Mac Jones, and we felt so good about it watching Mac Jones skip to the podium and hug the commissioner. You don't want to be in that spot where you do fall back and now you're settling on a quarterback just because you need to fill the spot. If Drake May or J.J. McCarthy is that franchise sort of guy that you believe can lead this team and this organization for the next decade and a half, why would you play peekaboo with the picks? What games are we playing? What have you now gained by moving back and taking a chance on not getting your quarterback of the future? And so if you've evaluated these guys and you feel like that's the person that you can put in your locker room, put in your building, and keep Gerard and have Gerard Mayo have his Tom Brady as for his Bill Belichick, I believe you make that pick. There's no reason to be cute, to amass picks, and miss out on the person you want.
You know, Mike T, you're still plugged in with so many of the fellow GMs there in the league. What are some of the other teams you think are making calls to the Patriots?
Yeah, Brian, there's a bunch of them. Obviously, Minnesota sitting there with 11-23 and desperate for a quarterback, losing Kirk Cousins. We talked about the Raiders needing a quarterback despite signing Gardner Minshew. And then obviously the Denver Broncos moving on from Russell Wilson. So I completely agree with RC. Don't get cute. I sat in that seat a bunch of times. You don't want to make the mistake of saying, hey, let's go get Drake May and another 3rd-round pick. It's not worth it. This is a draft. You cannot get cute. I expect the top 4 picks to be quarterbacks if Arizona trades out, and I think we could see 4 no later than top 6. So take the quarterback if you like him. The extra pick simply isn't worth it.
Yeah, Garage, give me another team you think that could be making a call to the Patriots.
I think it's the Giants. I think the Giants are going to be aggressive to try and get up there and take Drake May if they possibly can. And the deal for the Patriots at that point is they would only have to move back to 6. So if you're the Patriots and ownership has made it clear they want you to come out of this round 1 with a quarterback, moving back to 6 is a lot more enticing than moving all the way back to 11 or 12 or 13 because you feel like you'll still be able to get maybe a J.J. McCarthy at 6, maybe a Michael Penix if he's a guy you like. So I'm watching the Giants. I think the Giants like Drake May a lot and would like to know what it takes to get him. And if you're the Patriots, that's the ideal situation because you're still in position to take a quarterback.
All right, it'll be interesting because that number 3 spot seems to be the place where everyone believes where the draft will shake up. We're going to talk a lot more. I mean, one thing you see happening tonight.
The Dallas Cowboys will further infuriate their fans by trading down
Don't say that.
out of the 24th pick. Think about this. They need multiple contributors on the offensive line, and they're in a spot where they can probably move back and get it. They're picking 24th. I think a lot of people don't realize oftentimes teams don't have 24 first-round grades on guys in a given year. So if you stay at 24, you might be picking a second-round talent, in your view, with a first-round pick. Cowboys have done this before. Don't be surprised to see them move back and add more picks.
Okay. RC, what would you like to see happen in the first round?
This is not what I'm like to see. This is what has to happen. The Raiders have to get a quarterback. I understand you have Gardner Minshew and you have Aiden O'Connell, but with all the things that Antonio Pierce was able to do to finish last year and earn the head coaching job, the biggest thing is going to be getting him his quarterback of the future, someone that he can grow with inside this franchise who is his guy. So tonight, that needs to happen no matter when it happens or where it happens. They need to get a quarterback.
Mike T, finish it off. What do you want to see happen?
For the first time in 8 years tonight, the Rams select in the first round, and they take a quarterback in Michael Penix Jr. to eventually replace Matthew Stafford, who only has 1 year left of guaranteed money on his contract. It's an ideal situation for the Rams. Let Michael Penix sit and learn for a year and then take over for Matthew Stafford in 2025.
Well, take a look at this, guys, because Field Yates has his brand new mock draft out. Mike T, he's got Penix going to the Raiders, Bo Nix to the Rams. He's got Caleb Williams, Jayden Daniels, Drake May going in the first 3 picks. J.J. McCarthy slotted to go 8th overall to the Vikings via a mock trade. Here's McCarthy, though, who spoke to Rich Eisen on where he thinks he's going to land.
Do you have any sense at all before I let you go where you're going? Any idea? You think?
I mean, I have somewhat of an idea. New York Giants, I've spent the most time with. You know, they're a phenomenal staff. Love Coach Dable. Love, Mr. Shane. Love Coach Tierney, Coach Kafka. Just being able to go in there, pretty much know like most of the install. So it's similar formations, motions, plays, all that stuff. So being able to get that install in has been great. I met with them twice. It's been amazing.
Okay, so you heard from J.J. Mike T. Do you think J.J. McCarthy goes top 5?
Absolutely. I don't think he makes it to 6. If I'm the Giants, I go up and get him. Daniel Jones has missed 23 games. I mean, we could debate the fumbles and a lot of other issues about his game, but fundamentally, he just can't stay healthy. J.J. McCarthy's never missed a game. So from a durability standpoint, plus his upside, his athleticism, he's almost rushed for another 1,000 yards, 49 career touchdown passes. I loved him at Michigan at practice when he was behind Cade McNamara. There's something special about him. If I'm the Giants, I go get him. I'm competing with the Cowboys, the Eagles, the Lions, the Packers, the 49ers. You're not going to get to where you want to go with Daniel Jones. You have a real chance with J.J. McCarthy.
RC, what do you think? Would he be overdrafted if he goes that high at 6?
Yes, he would. Because that's what we do with quarterbacks. Every team needs a quarterback, and we get thirsty for him, and we're hungry for him. And so if you have one that you've watched enough film on, or you've had him in your building, and you feel like, okay, this is a guy that we can win football games with, you move up to draft him. We've seen it historically in the NFL draft, and I think J.J. McCarthy is the biggest beneficiary of that this entire offseason. Think about when Jim Harbaugh got the job as the Los Angeles Chargers head coach. He mentioned J.J. McCarthy right away. He said all these things about him. And then all of a sudden, now we got Mike T on here talking about how great J.J. McCarthy is. And Dan Orlovsky talking about how great J.J. McCarthy is. And these guys are better quarterback evaluators than I am. I'm sure Jim Harbaugh is a better quarterback evaluator than I am. So clearly, what my eyes are telling me that this man is a top 15 pick in this draft, not a top 5 pick, is wrong. Because J.J. McCarthy is going to go extremely high. And the one thing that I noticed from what he said, you asked Jayden Daniels, who we believe is going to go number 2 overall. Has he got any assurances? Does he believe he's going to Washington? And he was like, no, I don't really know. We have to wait and see. J.J. McCarthy, when asked, was very sure that he thought the Giants would be the most probable team that he'd end up on. I think that's going to be very interesting to watch tonight, because if he has that confidence, what are the Giants doing to make him feel that way, and does it come to fruition in the top 5 picks?
So what are you hearing, Graz, about the Giants at number 6? Because you look at a number of mock drafts, people say, oh, Malik Neighbors is probably going to be the guy that they were going to get.
There a lot in the mock drafts. And look, it's a consideration. They haven't had a 1,000-yard receiver since Odell Beckham in 2018. It would make some sense. He'd be exciting to watch. But the Giants have done a lot of work on quarterbacks, and I think their preference would be to come out of tonight with a quarterback. They really like Drake May. I believe they would like to move up to 3 if possible, assuming 1 and 2 is Caleb Williams and Jayden Daniels, as we expect. I believe they'd like to do a deal with the Patriots, see if they can get Drake May. If they can't do that, then I do believe J.J. McCarthy is a consideration for them, either at 6 or if they have to move up 1 or 2 spots. I know that they like Michael Penix Jr. an awful lot. I'm not sure they would take him at 6, but maybe if they miss out on May and McCarthy and they're in a trade down scenario, maybe that could be something that they see. Yeah, Malik Neighbors, it makes some sense. It would be a great pick for anybody, but I think the first choice the Giants have tonight is to try and find a quarterback. Daniel Jones, 1 year left of guaranteed money, $36 million. He's had multiple neck injuries. It's just a tough long-term bet for the Giants, and I think they've reached the point where they realize that.
RC, do you think it's a mistake if the Giants don't get a QB at that number 6 spot?
You know what? I don't think it's a mistake. If you're sitting at 6 and there isn't a quarterback that you feel is worth that pick, I don't believe you take him. Let's say J.J. McCarthy is already off of the board and Drake May is off of the board as well. At number 6, drafting Michael Penix because of the injury history, some of the age concerns at being 24 is not a great value at that position. We all know Bo Nix shouldn't be drafted at number 6 either. And when you think about the New York Giants, it was just mentioned by Graz that they haven't had a receiver with 1,000 yards since 2018 and Odell Beckham Jr. He's played for 3 different teams since then. How about you start continuing to build the team so you at least have the infrastructure that when you get an opportunity to get your quarterback, there are more pieces around him to help him succeed.